Namaste, frogs, and welcome to Monday Flow. So, hello, and I hope you're all well wherever you are. Today we are going to be working through a few expanding movements and slightly more contracting movements. So, trying to reach out from your center, take up some room and spread, and then just gently coming back to kind of a squeezing and internal focus. We're also going to move through a couple of your favorite deep stretches to create a really balanced in all directions kind of flow today. So hopefully today is a rejigging and a tune-up. So whether it's morning, noon or night, this is a good one to connect and find steadiness and openness, I hope. So whenever you're ready, we're actually going to start off on the ground today. So coming towards the ground. And as always, if I haven't said it too many times, we are going to look after ourselves, and when in doubt, just take rest. If a stretch or a twist isn't suiting you, just unravel and come down to the ground. So that's where we're going to start, finding your way down onto your back. And you might take the knees up for a moment and just kind of wriggle the hips a little bit side to side. And here, just finding a really nice even pelvis for a moment, spreading the shoulders wide, elbow tips a little bit wide as well as we bring the fingertips to the ribs. And then just tucking your chin slightly towards your chest so that your spine stays really nice and elongated. Just close the eyes and keep your feet flat to the ground with your knees pointing up in semi-supine. So you want your feet roughly hips distance apart so you can relax the feet. Feel the alignment, knees with hips, knees with the ground. And then feel how by just closing the eyes we get a sense of a slightly deeper inner observation, maybe noticing how you're feeling. And with those softly closed eyes, noticing the breath underneath the hands. And giving yourself 3 or 4 nice full breaths, maybe the fullest breaths you've taken so far this week or this morning or today. As we take a couple more breaths, just allowing yourself to feel a sense of quiet. So even if your house isn't quiet or there's some activity to be heard, just allowing in the possibility of stillness and quiet. So we're going to inhale. Start to pick your feet up off the ground and bring your knees towards you, grabbing hold of each shin with each hand and just giving yourself a squeeze of your shins back to the ground. You could flex your heels here or just rotate the ankles. I want you to feel that little bundling feeling of bringing the knees up towards the chest, stretching a bit through your back. And then just rising the crown of the head and the chest up. So you're kind of coming into a little cannonball on the ground. And then just take your next big breath in as a big star shape along the floor. So you're just spreading your arms and your legs slightly wide, opening it out, stretching the fingers, and then exhale, just curl back into your ball, your little cannonball rising the chest. Inhale, next breath in, take that big star shape, open up. Feel like you're trying to take up as much room as you can within your environment, and then exhale, come back to your little cannonball. And then again, inhale, open up. Feel that open energy, and then exhaling, almost a moment of a little bit more of an inward focus. Inhale, reach the arms overhead this time as you land your feet towards the ground. And just as we did a moment ago, we're just going to take a little wriggle across the hips. So both knees just sway to your right and then sway to your left. And then we might increase that. So we're kind of wriggling the knees down to one side, down to the other. And your arms may stay right above you, or they may gently open up slightly into more of a cactus position, a right angle, shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist. Give yourself just a couple of deep breaths to notice how it feels to move this way. Can be a really nice release for the glute muscles if you're a cyclist. Can be a nice release from the back if you've been sitting for a while. And we'll take another deep breath in and out. Okay, inhaling. Setting your knees back up towards the sky in semi-supine so your feet are flat to the ground. Inhaling, I'm going to start to lift your left foot into the air and just press your heel towards the ceiling. So you're trying to stretch the back of your hamstring. And then you might take a couple of little bends into that floating knee and then just stretching back out just to increase the space in that leg. And then again, and then stretching back up. Feeling the weight of your pelvis on the ground as you reach up with that left leg. And so our circulation might be changing a little bit here, the blood flow moving back from your hard-working feet towards your body. Inhaling, we're going to start to bring your hands from above your head and see if you can catch your left thigh. You might take that gently with the fingertips, or you might be able to reach around the back of the left hamstring, back of the left thigh with interlaced fingers. Don't worry if you can't, if this is a bit tight. If you're going one step further and you feel like you can without too much pressure somewhere else, we're just going to elongate your right leg as well. So your left leg's in the air, your right leg is out in front of you. Just feel that left thigh stretch. Keep energy up through the left heel, and we'll just breathe into a heavy, heavy tailbone. Last deep breath. Full breath in. Start to lift your crown, head, and then chest. So coming almost into a sort of stomach crunch to lift the chest off the ground. And see if you can find a sort of higher purchase on that leg, maybe the back of the calf or the ankle. And just find a bit of a deeper stretch. Again, muscles are switched on around the core. Make sure the breath is also moving through. Inhale. Exhale to bend that left knee and catch your left big toe with your first and middle finger of your left hand. I'm going to come back to the mat here with your chest. Using your right hand to just land on top of your right hip, so same side hip, kind of as an anchor as we inhale, and just lift your left foot towards the air, moving your left knee towards the ground and towards your left elbow. So your left knee is actually moving wide of your chest, like a lizard pose on your back in half happy baby. And just breathe into the chest for a moment, maybe even turn your head slightly right for counterbalance. Find some small stretch to observe or a deep stretch to observe. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, release that left big toe and catch the left shin with that same hand instead. Giving that a squeeze like a little frog's leg out towards your left side. side. And then inhale, move that left knee back into the center, aligning with the hip again, and maybe just take a squeeze with both hands on that left shin. So we're going to take the other side. Release that shin, step the left foot down with the knee pointing up into the air. So you have semi-supine on one side. Inhale, we're going to draw your right leg off the ground and press your heel of your right foot into the air, stretching the back of the hamstrings. Your hands can rest wherever they feel happy, maybe on the ribs or out to your sides. And then we're just going to bend your right knee and then push that foot back into the air. And then maybe do that a couple of times so that you notice the stretch and where it forms directly through to the arch of the foot without pressure through the knee. Good. As we elongate, this time we're holding, feeling the weight of the tailbone as equal as possible on the ground, even though one leg is lifted. And breathing deeply, start to find some sort of connection with both hands for that right thigh. So the hands can gently take that thigh, or you might be able to connect around the back of the right thigh with interlaced fingers. Don't worry if that's not available, come back to just a light touch. And if you want to take a bit more space, we're sliding your left foot all the way down and long in front of you. So your left leg is elongated along the ground and your right leg is into the air. And just breathe to stretch from the thigh upwards for another deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to peel the chest and head off the ground. Find almost a little bit of core work as we look towards the right knee. And you can take your hands just ever so slightly higher or connect. We're just coming maybe up a level as we take a connection behind the thigh, maybe behind the calf. Don't worry if you're nowhere near. Or you might take your hands up towards the ankle. So wherever you are, we're just breathing to lift the chest equally and breathe through the strength so that you're kind of making peace with the work, especially in the jaw. Nice peaceful jaw. Inhale, start to release the hands, bend your floating leg. See if you can catch your right big toe with your first and middle fingers as you come back towards the ground with your chest. Your right knee is going to aim towards your right shoulder or right elbow, so slightly out towards the outside of the torso, down towards the ground, with your foot still flat up towards the ceiling. Left hand on top of the left hip for a little bit of an anchor, and just finding that almost lizard stretch, but on our back. So we've got a little bit of that new open angle through the hip to breathe into. And you might be turning your head slightly left to counter the balance. Just taking another couple of deep breaths in and out. Starting to let go of your big toe, taking that same hand, right hand to the right shin as you squeeze the shin in. So you're kind of more of a frog's leg out to the side. And just breathe into that angle of the hip. Notice if there's anything slightly different in the mechanics of the way that opens. Breathing again. And inhaling, next breath, bring that knee back into the alignment of the right hip. So we're going to give that a squeeze with both hands, maybe interlace on the shin, take a squeeze. And we're actually going to do a little bit of core work to start up our prana today. So we're trying to blow away a little bit of staleness with this warming exercise. So as we inhale, we're going to peel the chest off the floor as we just did. And then just point both toes and send your left foot off the ground as well. And we're just going to take a big inhale to change which shin we have. Exhale, send that right foot away, left shin in. So a big breath in, a big breath out to change to your right shin. And you might start up your Ujjayi breath, moving to the left shin. Try and keep the jaw soft, using your stomach muscles, not your jaw muscles, to keep you up. And take another 2. And then last one. Inhale, bring both knees in, relax your chest, and maybe just take a sighing breath out. Hands to the kneecaps. I'm just going to rock forwards and back and rock up to sitting, to cross the legs underneath and find your tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Finding 4 nice equal table legs. We're going to inhale, find the belly moving down, tailbone stretching up, and eyes slightly forwards. Exhale, roll and press the muscles of the belly up against the spine as you tuck the chin under, rounding. So inhale, we find an arch. And exhale, we find a round. Inhale, we find an arch. Exhale, we find our round space. Inhale, coming through to arch. This time put a little wriggle of the hips, side to side in your arch. And then just do the same thing into your round space. So just bringing the chin and the tailbone down, just wriggling a little bit in there as well. And exhale, nice equal spine. Again, we might just empty a breath full in through the nose and out through the mouth. Tucking the toes. Let's hang on to a little bit more strength in the abdominals and perineum space, root muscles, as we inhale and breathe through. So we're going to lift up and into your down dog, off the knees, lifting the tail and back over the heels, pressing the ground away with both hands. Nice spread shoulders, and you might even give the head a little shake as we pedal one heel down and then the other, feeling each calf muscle, feeling each tip of the toe. So you're almost stretching the big toes. And then a nice shift of the hips side to side as well, so you're feeling a bit of side space through the body. So you're wriggling your way into just one down dog here. Just one breath there of stillness as you arrive, feet at your hips distance, hands at shoulder distance. Inhale to take your right foot off the ground into the air, stretch into tripod. We'll feel that left hamstring here as we create more strength through the arms. Inhale, we're going to lift your right hip slightly and bend your right knee slightly. So you're coming into a gentle hip opener. It could be not so gentle if you're in that mood to go a little bit higher through the knee. Keep rotating the thigh. Almost feel that belly skin stretch, and take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And we're going with one more deep breath. As we exhale, we're leveling the hips and that right leg back. We're going to bring this right shin all the way underneath us to find pigeon pose. So you can walk your hands forwards. Take your shin down in front of you. And then shimmy, shimmy, shimmy back across the hips, with that left knee finding its comfortable space. So making sure the left knee doesn't feel too much pressure here. You might be using a cushion underneath your right hip bone to stay level. If you're quite high up off the ground, we're using some sort of prop here. Just a bundle, a jumper. And then inhale, imagine you're trying to wrap in your left thigh into the center line of your body as you elongate through the spine and find the forearms. So we're going to go a couple of breaths on those forearms. So even if you're quite warmed up already from whatever you've been doing today, just take a couple of breaths to draw the head softly down in between the arms. So you might be feeling a draining through the head here. go one step further and take the elbow tips out, one hand on top of the other, and just landing your third eye, your forehead space, right on top of that top palm. Feel a little stimulation, a little connection there to that forehead point. But most of all, appreciating how we're getting a deeper stretch across the glutes and we have a soft width through the shoulder blades. Inhale, start to stretch your arms out. If you want to come back a stage at any point, please do, or find child's pose if you're in doubt. Otherwise, reaching out with me to just stretch both arms forwards. And appreciate the tailbone trying to draw back as equally as possible here. Taking another deep breath in and deep breath out. We're going to inhale here, start to walk your hands back up. And before we go anywhere, we're just going to take the backs of the hands to the floor, fingertips facing towards each other, and take a little wrist stretch, which is just going to prepare us for our next movement as we bring the hands back down. We're going to take your right hand into the center of the mat, using your left hand as well. We're going to tuck your left toes, energize both arms and send both feet back to your side plank, opening up the left arm above the left shoulder and try not to sink in the shoulder. Push the ground away, squeezing the thighs together. Big breath in, big breath out. And just one last breath if you can. Exhale, face the floor and find chaturanga. So each hand is under each shoulder. Breathing into the heels pressing back and the crown pressing forwards, using that bit of core strength we started. And then inhaling to rise your tailbone, walking your feet towards your hands slightly to find down dog. Arriving at a really nice neutral space where the tailbone is our peak. The hands and feet feel connected to the ground, and taking a full breath to drop the head softly between the arms. So strengthening the arms, inhale, we're going to take your left foot off the ground, inhale into your tripod, stretching your right hamstring. And then slightly lifting your left hip, bending the left knee, so it's a little tail that's flicking around from left to right. And it doesn't have to be a really deep stretch here, although it can be if you want to. Keep pressing the ground away. Keep a gentle focus through your standing legs so you're not overlocking the knee. One last deep breath, spreading the belly skin. And then exhaling to align the hips and that left leg back. So we're going to draw your left knee towards your chest until we can land the shin on the ground in front of us gently. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy the right knee back. Make sure it's quite comfortable on the ground. You can always double the mat underneath your knee if you need. We might use a cushion or a bundled up jumper or whatever's around if you need some height on your left hip. Otherwise, just coming down straight away to your forearms. You might interlace the fingers and just drop the head forward so you get a little bit of space through the neck. And closing the eyes, just sort of allowing 2 deep breaths to feel like a draining of any fizzy or staleness, stale energy through the crown of the head and out. So you might stay there if that's quite enough stretch for you. Or we might be moving down, elbow tips out, one hand on top of the other, doesn't matter which, and we're just landing our third eye point onto that top hand. I'm just feeling kind of quite a nice heavy connection there as we bring our focus there and then out into our widened shoulder blades. Feeling your left glute space stretching. Make sure you are breathing here. And then you might be staying there or coming back a stage, or taking your hands out in front of you for a couple of breaths. Noticing if this side feels different. For me, this side is much tighter. You might notice something about yourself here. And just registering all those little observations as you breathe in and out again. Trying to draw the tailbone equally back. Inhale, let's start to rise the chest. We're taking a brief hiatus if it's comfortable. We're using a bit of core strength to keep our body light here, so we're not relying on the backs of the hands, but we're just going to press a little weight onto the backs of the hands, fingertips facing in. And then exhale, turn those palms back, face down. Left hand right in the center of the mat. You can use your right hand as well as you tuck your right toes, and just center strength all the way through the body as we shoot both feet out, and turn your feet towards the right, onto the outer edge of your back foot. Push the ground away so you have a spacious shoulder, you're not trying to sink in, and keep lifting through the right fingertips for another deep breath, squeezing thighs together. And then exhaling to find your way to face down into your chaturanga. Inhaling, walk your feet towards your hands as you lift your tailbone, finding down dog. Big breath in. Start to look ahead to the hands. We can either jump or step your feet forward. And then take your feet, really planting down at every corner, every edge to fold. Feet at hips distance, roughly apart. Give your head a nice drop and nod. And then inhale, put a small bend into both knees and lift your arms either side of you so you're coming up with wide arms until the palms touch. Exhale, prayer position towards the chest. Taking a full breath in standing, inhaling and exhaling. So you're going to stay at the front of your mat roughly, just going to face you for a moment. Taking the arms up onto your sides, inhale. And just taking both hands over towards your left side as the palms come together. So you're in a little side stretch. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, both palms are coming over to your right side, a little side stretch. Inhale to center. Exhale to open and fold. Giving your head a nice drop and pausing here for a full breath. You can bend the knees generously here if you need to, and just keep lovely long space through the lower back. Inhaling, slide your hands to your shins and take your crown forward. So you're creating a right angle with the floor in a half lift. Again, pausing for a breath. Exhale, refold, drop the head. Inhale, coming to standing again. Inhale, open arms until the palms touch. And then exhaling, prayer position towards the chest. Taking a full resting breath, and then we're going to repeat. So the same again, so we can form a bit of a flow, a rhythm with the breath. Inhale, arms up and wide. Palms touch so they're over your head, palms together. As we exhale, take a side stretch to your left. Inhale, come up, center. Exhale, take a side stretch to your right. Inhale, come up, center. Exhale, open through center, arms all the way down to fold. Pause and drop the head as you breathe. And then hands to shins to take a flat back, crown forwards. Pausing to breathe. One more inhale, nice long spine. And exhaling to fold. We're going to take just one vinyasa, stepping or jumping your feet to the back of the mat. You could come through plank, You can land your belly if you want to, or land the knees. We're going to bring the elbow tips in either side of the ribs, send the chest forwards and up on your up dog. Inhale. And then with your chin coming back to your chest, roll back through to your down dog, finding a nice equal landing, breathing into every corner of the body. Exhale, start to bend the knees so you can come down to child's pose. Knees slightly set apart, so your knees are a little wide. You're almost in a hip stretch as you rock your torso side to side between the thighs. Bringing your head down between the arms in a nice resting pose. If it feels comfortable, we're going to add in just a little thoracic back of the chest stretch. Hands coming together above you on the mat, and just bending at the elbows to bring your prayer position behind your head. So you have a little bit of a deeper space across the upper back and the underarms. But if that does feel at all restrictive, just take the hands forwards and away. Exhale, start to release the hands and letting yourself look just slightly forwards towards those hands. We're going to slide all the way down onto our belly, finding your way, feet back to hips distance. As we inhale, we're just going to take your hands slightly wider than your mat, so you're up on fingertips and your hands are outside the mat. Bringing your elbow tips into right angles above the wrists. We're coming into a wide cobra, lifting the chest to feel a small arch. Inhale. And then exhaling, coming back down. So it doesn't have to be that deep. We just take a little lift, a little stretch of the belly. And then back down. And then back up. And then back down. So this time, come up about halfway, inhale. And then we're going to turn your left shoulder down and try to look towards your right elbow for a moment. So you're just turning your upper chest. Inhaling, bringing yourself open and center. Exhaling, you're looking towards your left elbow as your right shoulder tries to find its way down towards the ground. It doesn't have to touch the ground. Inhaling, center. Exhaling, coming down. Sending your hands behind you. Palms facing in over your bum as if we're catching a beach ball on top of the bum. I'm going to inhale, take your chest, head, arms and legs up. So you're forming a nice deep arching space, but squeezing into a center line. Breathing in for 3 or 4 breaths. If you want to and it feels okay, we're going to take the hands interlaced here and lift the chest a little higher, but keep your neck free, the eyes face slightly down. Breathing in for 2 more. One last breath in, releasing the hands, exhale to come down. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, cobra, peeling the front of the body off the mat. Exhale, child's pose. Last deep breath in your child's pose. And then inhale, finding your way up just enough into tabletop to cross your feet underneath you or around to the side, whatever feels good. Take yourselves cross legs into the middle of your mat. So you have space ready behind you, space out in front of you. Inhale, send those heels out long. Take a peeling out of the glute muscles. And we're into our last movement or two here. To breathe in, take the arms up and above you, and see if you can sit in a right angle, as tall and strong as you can with the ground. So just try to resist the back trying to get out of its work, its lift. We're going to inhale and just hold that position and breathe through it for 2. Inhaling up through the fingertips, exhaling, folding forwards. Feel a stretch through both hamstrings and then just bring that back up. Inhaling, holding for 2. Inhaling, nice strong back lift. Exhaling, feel that stretch through both hamstrings, folding forwards. Inhaling up, holding for 2. Keeping the shoulders down from the ears, but a nice long strong back. Inhaling, lifting fingertips. Exhale, bring your hands to your shoulders this time, sweep them forwards to feel your hamstrings. Inhale, back up. Holding for 2, shoulders down. Inhaling. Exhaling the same way, hands to shoulders and back forwards. Inhale up. Pick up each knee. Exhale, find your way back to semi-supine. Spread the hands wide with your sides. Inhaling and exhaling here. Just find a moment of softness through the palms in semi-supine. Option 1, just keep your knees up like this. Option 2, if you feel comfortable within the hips, we're going to wriggle your ankles together and find a supine butterfly. So the knees open like a book, slowly, soles of the feet together. This can feel quite strong, so if it doesn't feel quite right to you as you open up, just keep your feet flat to the floor, knees up. We're only going to take 3 full breaths. Just feeling this little moment of rest and openness across the chest. Notice the soles of the feet tingling. Notice yourself coming back to land across the tailbone, whichever position you're in. And then we're going to inhale. Start to bring a little energy around the hips to bring the knees up, feet flat to the ground, meeting in semi-supine. And then just stretching your arms above your head along the ground, stretching your feet along the ground forwards. Take a nice big almost yawn through your full body. And then release your breath and your arms to your sides. Finding that Shavasana landing. And just resting the face muscles for a few deep breaths in and out. Noticing how your breath carries your awareness deeper as it takes over, it forms its own rhythm. Not having to manage the breath in any way, just to feel it and notice it and let it feed the organs, give you space. And let's focus the last few breaths here in the face muscles to release. So almost as if we are just just letting go of any expressions and therefore any stories that we're keeping hold of. Softening the root of the tongue, the backs of the eyes, the space across the forehead, the corners of the mouth. And then starting to send that same attitude towards all of the other muscles through the body, feeling release through the palms, soles of the feet, crown of the head, chest space. Everything releasing, anything held or habitual, and just feeling softness in its place. And then gather a bit more energy through your breath, in and softly out. Feel that process, old for new. On whatever level that makes sense to you today. Wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes. And gently bring the knees up and towards the chest. And we might massage the lower back with a circling of the knees. And then circle them the other way. And then take both knees over towards your left side to tumble into a little ball. And gently make your way up to sitting position. Let's find crossed legs. Which way am I facing? Just take a little shift of the hips side to side, maybe a little roll of the shoulders, back and down, a couple of times. And then when you're ready, inhale, let's just bring the hands towards the heart in prayer position, thumbs just landing there, feel your heartbeat. And then thumbs up towards the third eye to circle there and massage that space free and awake and connected. Hands back down to the chest to bow to yourself. So very slowly open up the eyes, taking the light in your room if there is any. Stretch the arms up and out, maybe like a big yawn. And shake the hands out. Namaste everybody. I hope that you're feeling alright, and I look forward to seeing you either here or in class or in person soon. Thank you. Namaste.